Hey everybody, it's Kevin. Today is Thursday. Goodness, we're just moving right along. The 13th, not Friday the 13th. I got a new take on Thursday the 13th. I believe that Thursday the 13th is a magical day. Friday the 13th is a mischievous day. And by that I mean, if you got Thursday the 13th, I love the way that rolls off my tongue, it becomes one of magic and miracles and a time to manifest the good stuff. If you're on Friday the 13th, it's just a bit of mischief and mayhem for the masses, right? So Thursday the 13th, magic and miracles are all for us. And today's no exception. Gosh, I just can't tell you. Here are the cards for today. I'm excited. So, I felt energized this morning. I was awake before my alarm, which the first one goes off at 3:30 a.m. The second one kind of like does it at 4. So I know at 3:30 when I get that sort of I've got a tune that plays. It sort of reminds me of like a Bollywood type of Indian maraca thing. It's called it's the name of the track is Entrance to oh gosh, I'll think of it in a minute. It's one of these. The Entrance to Kashmir, which is a like a part of India. Anyway, so I was up with the dogs this morning, meditating, getting myself together, and I find that time of the day for me a absolutely perfect time to convene with my own guardian angel. It's usually a time that's very quiet, very peaceful, and it just gives me this ideal platform to come in here and do this at whatever time this is, almost 6 o'clock. I like that. My friend right here has been phenomenal. I want to put him up on the camera real quick. For those who don't know what a crystal skull is, crystals come from the baseline of the core of the earth themselves. Many of you have seen crystals in many different forms. This is a quartz crystal. It's like a sphere, if you want, it's a point. They call them all different names, shards, whatever you want to call it. This has been, it's natural on one end and somebody has polished and carved it on the other end. I got this many years ago. I went into a shop by chance. A man was offloading what was an open back pickup truck, one of those, trucks that usually hauls dirt, landscaping thing with wooden sides. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he had rented this space in downtown Boone. And this has been many years ago. And the floor was literally covered with all kinds of gemstones and crystals. It was like going into a treasure box. And the man had said that a woman in Florida had sent him a message that she was either going out of business or something was happening. So he went down there and picked up all these rocks. The challenge he had was they were so heavy, he had a hard time getting the truck, which was pretty good size, up the mountain to the store where he was offloading these crystals. What's odd about it, I picked 4 of them up. I might have picked 6 of them up. Relatively inexpensive, affordable, I call that. And then months later, I returned. Store was gone. It was something else. The man was gone. It's just quite interesting to me when I look back on the adventures of my life and see, how things come and go in and out, and they're meant to do that. Other forms of crystals. This is a natural amethyst. Oddly enough, of all places, I had to be popping into a TJ Maxx or one of those and came across this. And it was like, that's such an odd place to find a crystal, needless to say. Then you can have a rose quartz, which is what this is. Whoop, I don't know if that's even picking it up. There you go, it's focusing in its natural form. I don't know if I can get up that close to the, there you go. There you go. Which ends up becoming this beautiful bad boy, which is, all finished, polished, made into a sphere. And then we have just a regular natural quartz crystal with all the inclusions, which is typically what this would look like, all polished up. This is the one I always use to ground me when I'm doing readings. If I'm sitting doing a reading with somebody, I'm looking for spirit. This is usually in the left hand to receive the information that I'm supposed to get. Sometimes I'll put it on the back of my neck. Sometimes I'll put it on my forehead. Sometimes I'll just sit and meditate with it. And then, of course, we have my latest fantastic. This came from Christina Valentine. She's known as the Enchantress, Crystal Enchantress, I think she calls herself. There's a website. Anyway, this arrived this week. There is a rather ceremonial way of activating it, which I did on Tuesday. And they are quite magnificent. And I know it sounds a bit weird, but to think that this rock was way down into the crystalline layers of the earth, and Leandro de Sousa his purpose is to bring this vibrational energy up out of the crystal, and then send the crystal to certain places in the world. The man doesn't allow that many places to offer and care for and find the right homes for these crystals. They're not just valuable collector pieces, but they actually are the kind of, they hold energy, they hold vibration, they remind us of really times gone by, because everything is a vibration. So I'm honored to own him. I'm honored to use the wisdom from him that right now I'm looking into it and I'm seeing colors of blue and colors of magenta, like in a rainbow form, through the inclusion, and that's been here. So that's part of what this is. And the gorgeous color of blue is healing. Archangel Michael works a lot with blue. And then you've got the magenta on the end of it, which is kind of sort of the top two energy centers, chakra centers. It goes, the blue starts up in the throat, the communication, moves on up into the brow chakra that gives us the third eye center, the connection to spirit world. And then you've got the beautiful colors of pink and magenta that way on up into the stellar gateway, which is connected to Archangel Metatron. So for me to say this crystal skull that was in a store outside of Glasgow found me, I found it, just the same way as I found the fellow in the store in Boone, and just the same way as I found the store that I got this rose quartz with. They find us. The energy and the vibration find us when we're meant to get it. All that to say, I'm going to get back to the reading and the message for today, because it's pretty powerful. As I'm thanking my angels, archangels, the ascended masters, and my own guardian angel, who I don't hang out with enough, and I love hanging out with him. It's an extension of who I am. And for those of you who are not quite sure who your guardian angel is, what your guardian angel is, this is a part of you that's been part of you since you were created in the beginning. In the beginning meaning the lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. It's a bit like a twin person. A guardian angel for us, for you, for me, for everybody, shows up to us consciously when we invite them in and say, yes, you're here. They're always here. They're always around. They've never been separated. However, we have to invite them in. We have to open ourselves up to the idea that they exist. That's a challenge, because if some folks don't believe it, don't think it, they've chosen to believe something else. That's why we have the freedom of choice. When we're in a spirit, and when we're in a physical embodiment, when we come into this life with a purpose, it's not a secret. Many people have spoken about it. We choose the purpose. We choose the path we're on. We're not put here to struggle. We're not put here to be poor. We're not put here to do the things that the human experience puts upon us. So what happens with free will? Something happens, there's a response, there's a reaction, there's sometimes blame, there's sometimes guilt, there's sometimes forgiveness. All of those things are an adventure and part of the pathway. Freedom comes when we begin to take charge of loving ourselves, being good to ourselves, treating ourselves well. I believe that the book that folks call the Bible is simply a guidebook for living a good life. When you say it was created by God, well, God creates everything. To me, what I believe is God is not a man, not a person. It is a vibrational energy that is part of the bigger creation. And if we, as in human form, have been created, which we have, then we are also part of that ability to create. In every single human being is the ability to be creative and create. Comes in the forms of art is the most notable. Music, writing, speaking, teaching, sharing, chores, jobs, companionship, cooking, making space available, making your heart available, opening your heart up to people. It is all part of creation. So for someone to say, I'm not creative, they perhaps are being more specific. I'm not artistic. I'm not musical. I'm not literary. I'm not the things they say they're not. The bigger picture of that is, if a person is claiming that they are not something, then they are not. They believe they are not. They have set a purpose that they are not. They have said that they're not. They're claiming that they're not. And because the Creator, being God, being the universe, whatever you believe, put you here to begin with, if that is what you're stating and you're saying, that is what that creative force is hearing. And their job, because they're here to do what we want them to do, is to create what we're saying we are. The only place you can truly create anything is right now, in the present moment that you're sitting, listening, writing, doing, thinking, planning. All of those things are living, breathing, truthful in this very moment. 5 minutes from now, what we're doing now is gone. What we're about to do in 5 minutes hasn't happened yet. So when we look at asking angels and praying, which is where the middle card comes in, I'll get to these cards and what they mean. We are actually putting our petition up to the universe, to the great creator, to the great wise energy, the vibration that makes it happen. We're putting the prayer up, connecting with that source energy that says, this is what I believe I'm about, or what I can do. Meditation, the art of getting quiet, moving away the static, is the way that the spirit, the soul, the inner vibrational part of all of us gets to receive that information. We get the little chit-chat, the small inclinations, the tiny nuances. We get that through meditation. Meditation goes within, talks to the soul, magnetically energizes the vibration between the creator and us. It's the same thing. Reminds us what our path is, reminds us what our purpose is. Prayer puts up the petition to universe for what is being asked for. So let's get to the message. The heart of everything, what's going on right now, because these cards just flew out. I was shuffling, saying thank you for bringing me the message, and plop, all three. And every one of them is from Carl Gray's deck, with the gold background, which is Keepers of the Light. Here's the book that goes with it. You can find these on carlgray.uk.com. That's his website. They're also sold through Hay House. But go on to carlgray.uk.co. That's it. All kinds of stuff. The man's bright, brilliant, put here for a purpose. I've learned quite a bit in the year that I've studied with him. I'm sure I'm going to study with more folks. I just find that he has the roll up your shirt sleeves and get to the heart of the matter. And he's using the valuable cliff notes pieces, the chunky information to get to all of us, as opposed to more of the PhD course, which I'm not against. You know, there are some things I've learned from Carl Gray that I want to learn more of, and I'll dump into that and I'll study that more. Hence crystals. So Archangel Michael came at the heart of the reading, the strength, what's here, what we know. Archangel Michael comes to say that you're not on your own, and that you need to surrender your concerns and your worries and your anxieties and your prayers and all the things that you're concerned about. You need to surrender that up to the divine. Surrender it up to Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is basically one with God, he who sees God. It's a bit like God's he's like the archangel of all angels, sort of basically almost like a spiritual pope, if you will, because he's not attached to Catholicism or anything like that. He comes to protect us, so therefore we can lean in and let things happen. But we have to lean in and let things happen. If you felt like you are up against it, if you felt like you are, oh my goodness, I can't take anymore, let go and let God. Let go and let the energies that come carry you forward, because they will. And Archangel Michael is here to say, if you're following the light, if you're on the light, if you're about love and kindness, truth, honesty, for the better good of yourself and everybody, you have got what it takes and you're being protected. Always. Just stick with it. Charity, that is what the heart wants. That is what the desire is. So the position of what the heart wants, the position of what the desire is charity. This is about prayer and contemplation. Charity is a twin soul. It's another archangel, not Archangel Michael, but the fact they've come together is that Archangel Michael's reminding us that, you know what, we're protected, we're not on our own, and he's come in with charity to say, listen, we've got you. Now, what we want you to do is pray for others. And when we pray for others, we connect with heaven, and whatever we ask for, we're going to receive. So here's the thing I want to talk about that. There is the divine law of reciprocity. The divine law of reciprocity, which really is talking about what you put out, what you radiate from you, is going to come back to you multiplied times. However, what we should do at the moment is to spread prayers, desires, energies, vibrations of abundance. Why? Because we are in a human culture, especially in the Western world, where the division between affluence, abundance, free flowing will, all of this is at risk, because the general energy out there, the general knowledge out there, what is being spoon-fed and sprinkled is the opposite. Meaning, many on the human experience right now are buying into the lie, L-I-E, nonsense of lack, of limit, of not enough, of can't get it, oh, don't have it, oh, it's scarce, oh, it's running out, oh. And I say that with regard to a year ago, people were hoarding toilet paper. This week, in the southeastern part of the United States, people were hoarding gasoline. So there is this rapid movement in our culture that is talking about, if you don't hurry up, it's going to run out. That does something to the psyche. That does something to the emotional, intelligent, like all of the, like our soulness, our health, all of that. It creates this stressful feeling. And what I know for sure, and what I believe, if you vibrate with lack and limitation will be your experience. You're saying you want to experience lack, you want to experience limitation. Everywhere you go, you want to experience running out. You want to experience none left. You want to experience there isn't any more. You want to experience there is no hope. You want to experience, oh my goodness, we're doom and gloom. You know those people. You've met those people. Those people have shoved that down your throat. What happens, we begin to believe it, and it becomes like, gets in the vibration of our cells, in our mind, our body, our consciousness, and starts to spread, starts to just run rampant. Charity says, be grateful for what you have, thankful for what you have. Archangel Michael's going to still bring you what you need. You will always have it. You always have had it. There's never been a lack. Charity says, pray for the opening, the awakening, the love, the abundance, the peace, all of those things. Pray for that, for individuals, for the world, for the country, for your town, for your Congress people, whoever it is you want to send that information to, including the people that you feel like, oh my goodness, there they go with their 15-gallon container filling up with gas. And if you feel like that person is taking away the supply from somebody else, because that's another thing that's going on. We are witnessing greed and sloth and depravity and selfishness and human violence to each other. That's got to stop. So you can pray for it in general. You can ask that these folks find their way back to the light, find their way back on their path. Forgive them, because really, I know it's a bit of a stretch, because we all judge. I do it. To understand what causes somebody to hoard or pull is a greater pain than what you and I feel. It's a greater pain to believe, to buy into the idea that if I do not hoard the gasoline, the toilet paper, the Twix bars, the sugar, the flour, if I don't have this big, huge, big pile, then there won't be any left. The other side to it is, I'm going to do this so I can manipulate it and I can sell it on and I can make a lot of money. Neither one of those things leads anywhere decent, doesn't lead, it keeps people trapped. It keeps people stuck in a hole that isn't pretty. What we do is rise up above, lift the vibration. Sit down quietly. When you're in the Starbucks or you're in the gas station or what have you, I don't know, give somebody $1 if they're outside begging. Or, I don't know, buy a bunch of flowers and hand them to somebody who looks like they got the weight of the world on their shoulder. Something like that lifts everybody's vibration. It also lets humans who are stuck in it know that there is kindness in the world. If they're speaking, seeing, witnessing all of that ratchetness, they are void and they're not sure where kindness is. Your kindness. A smile. How are you? Come in, have a cup of tea. I'm not saying that you have to all of a sudden turn into Mother Teresa. I'm using her as an example. Or a saint. And just become this. You could. I mean, if that's really going to make you feel good, yes. What I'm saying is, you know that you're protected. Pray for yourself and other people that they're safe. But exemplify what you wish to see happen in the world. What you wish to see occur. You can say, oh my goodness, this is terrible. Well, if it is, it is. But then show people where is the light. Finally, divine director. You have a purpose. And it's occurring. You're being guided forward. That's why you're listening to this. That's why you're paying attention and following along. That's why I am somehow pulling the information straight from source and saying, this is where we have to go, people. The divine director is saying, your path is already opened up for you. And if you don't believe you're on it, the divine directors come to remind you, oh yes, you are. They've got you. They've got everything about you. You may have found yourself in the last 30, 60, 90 days, even 6 months, being more emotional than you've ever been. And the emotions are everything from happiness to joy to love, to hurt to anger to sadness. These are core emotions. You may find yourself bursting into tears at a drop of a hat. That's an emotion. As you brighten up and you lighten up, so you become more sensitive. It's called empathy. You are empathizing with the tears and the sadness of the Mother Earth, the Father Heaven, who is actually trying to cleanse itself. Cleanse itself of the greed. Cleanse itself of this need to do all these things no matter what. Cleanse itself of this heinous, egoic thing that we're on, where we've all got to be seen and what we've got going on is better than anybody else's. Those things are lovely if it inspires and motivates people to something bigger and better in themselves. It isn't when it becomes a form of abuse. And a form of abuse is showing people how fabulous you are with the intent of reminding them that you don't believe that they are. Because there's one awful, nasty, egoic trait that all of us are guilty of. It's that one-upmanship. The idea that when somebody gets something fabulous and wonderful and fantastic, we're reminded that we don't have that. So it's that bit, don't covet your neighbor. Instead of put in yourself what's missing. That doesn't mean to say you've got to be patronizing a person and say, oh, look, that person this, that person that. I mean, that's judgment. And I'm not sure it gets anybody anywhere. If you truly feel happy for them, grateful for them, my gosh, you worked hard for that. I saw you going to work 12 hours a day. I saw you coming home. Yeah, I know you saved long and hard for that vehicle or that house or that outfit or that ring or that jewelry. And it is spectacular. That's what you want to do for people. If you're doing things, going places, buying things, getting into the material world, get it if you know you earn it. Get it if you know you deserve it, and get it. And the universe says, yes, have it. We give it to you freely. It comes freely. And be grateful to the universe that they put it on your pathway. You know, we get everything we want, including the stuff. It's like, oh my goodness, what in the world did you do that for? Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. You know, to be selfish, self-centered. You start with the self, because when you're good, everyone else gets to be good. But when it comes from a place that's dark and twisted, oof, that's a lonely place to be. The world is becoming kinder. The world is becoming more loving. Believe it because it's true. We are lifting up the vibration. When you turn off the noise of the news, and I'm calling it noise because it's not ever good. It isn't ever helpful. And I am not being disrespectful for anybody that sits in front of a camera and reads the news. Friends, they are reading something. There's a teleprompter in front of them and it's scrolling up. And the news director, producer, the owner of the channel, the network, what have you, are just saying, this is what's happening today. Someone's typing it in, someone's editing it, and the newscaster reads it. Don't put their own thoughts and beliefs into it. They just are reading it. You know what's really amusing about that? Again, please, this is my own thoughts and opinions. I am not basing this on anybody's, what they've told me, and I'm certainly not knocking people who do that for a living at all. But what's funny is a few years ago, technology were playing with this idea that they were going to create virtual news readers. I think they were testing it in China, of all places. You know, and on one hand, you think, gosh, technology is so brilliant. They've got this, one of a better word, avatar in front of a TV screen reading the news. And you are watching it and you don't know if this is a real person or not. All right. It's become commonplace, and I'm going off topic, for us to get a phone call from somebody and they start talking, hi, this is Melissa, and you think it's a real person. It's not. So when you start talking back, hey, how are you? How's Fred? How's Jean? That whole recording thing keeps going because it's an avatar. It's not real. It's a machine. It's not real. You know, in my 20s and 30s, if I'd gone to the grocery store and they said, you're going to check out your own groceries, I would have gone somewhere else. It's like, no, I came in here and I want to get serviced. No, you got to self-serve yourself. Okay, so now it's commonplace. And the lady says something about give your shopper's card. Thank you. It's been accepted. And then you go to do what you got to pay with. And thank you for shopping at whatever. See you soon. And you hear this over and over and over. I find humor in that because I just, you know, the little tiny things tickle me. So I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if that lady that's watching the lines and she hears that all day long. Thank you for shopping it. Have a nice day. Thank you for shopping it. Have a nice day. I mean, I know it's going over and over. I got stuck in my head the thing when you're getting off of one of those trains. The doors are about to open. Please stand clear of the doors. It got stuck in my head. It gets in there. It sort of like rattles around. Anyway, that's an amusing part of how automated human beings are becoming, robotic. Which in one respect is why the pandemic, telling people to stay home, do something else, was so pivotal to shift the culture. Not just in a country, in an entire world. Shift it. Now people are paying more attention to, they want to be around people. Now people are saying there ain't anything good on social media, enough already. Staying off the internet. Realizing that they have got issues. Reacting, emotional. Instead of gathering with a small group of people, having a chat, having a breakfast meeting, really getting into somebody's life, asking them how they are. Anyway, I've been babbling about this for 30 minutes and I probably need to get on with our message of the day. You're protected by Archangel Michael. Charities come to say, listen, pray for everybody, including yourself. And the divine director says, you're on your path. You got it going on. And whatever you are concerned about, worried about, it's all good. It's part of what's supposed to happen. Done. I could have said that all in 30 seconds. I'm going to get better at being a little bit more concise, less verbose. Done. All right. So That's what I'm going to work on. Quick, easy, done. Today, the 13th, forgive yourself. Doesn't it feel good to forgive yourself? You don't have to be afraid or reluctant to do it anymore. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean you're condemned. It means you're setting yourself free. We can gather so much guilt as we go through life. We may blame ourselves for the experience we've had and how we've handled them. We may build up resentments against ourselves. We can even resist forgiving ourselves because we think that means saying we were bad or wrong. But not forgiving ourselves when we need to often leads us to return to situations that are unhealthy for us. Forgiving yourself means you can leave places that feel bad. You can end relationships that no longer work. You can avoid situations that cause continual pain and grief. Forgiving yourself means you can stop punishing yourself for what you've done and what you think you've done wrong. You don't have to hold your mistakes against yourself any longer. You don't have to deprive yourself of comfort, joy, love, and acceptance. It's much easier to say, I made a mistake. This isn't right. I don't like this. This is wrong. And then forgive yourself. Forgive yourself if you're done. Forgive yourself if you've done something wrong. Forgive yourself even if you haven't done something wrong. Then see how good forgiveness feels. Forgive yourself and be free. That's really it. You know, we always say for asking God for forgiveness. God didn't condemn you to begin with. Did that all by yourself. So if you made the mistake, two ways of being, it's an intentional mistake. Yep, I meant to do it. And not an intentional mistake. I didn't mean to do it and it was a mistake. I have found that challenging isn't that it's challenging because I couldn't do it. It was challenging because I would forgive myself for saying negative things about myself, the lie that I'm fat or not good enough, or that what I've done is stupid, or who I am is stupid, or I'm a freak, or all those things I said because people told me that's what the reality was. Truly, they did. And I believed it. I've forgiven myself for saying it about myself. But then I still had a part of me that believed it. That's when I learned, oh, I can forgive myself, but I have to remove the stigma, the tail. It's a tail. There's a little tail, a little barb that's stuck in there that keeps you attached to it. Good therapists, good coaches, safe places, psychologists, if they're really good, let you go back and experience the mistake in a virtual way to let you undo it, to let you redo it. It's a way of reliving it without reliving the pain of it, seeing it and working out, oh, this is how it's affected all these other things. Yesterday, I was listening to Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. I have it in print form and I have it on audio. Forgiveness for when you realize what you've learned came from somewhere or someone. To truly remove that barb is to have compassion and love for the person that said it, because they didn't know what they were saying, because they themselves were lacking those tools, that love. that forgiveness. They weren't able to do that work. That's it. Now we'll meditate. So put your feet flat on the floor, as we do normally. I think one day I'm going to do a video just about the beginning of meditation and what and how, or what the expectation is, because I find students have this expectation. It's just practice. Send your mind, your thoughts, your consciousness right now to the soles of your feet. Take the directive to take a big breath in. Have the experience of every single one of those spores of air filling your lungs and sending it all throughout your body. Let go. Release. Let go. Release. Let go. Release. Let go. Release of everything and anything you don't need. Turn on a physical breath that is an effort but not a struggle. Put in the effort to fill your body with the oxygen it needs, every cell. Use the gathering of what you don't need to expel out. In the few moments that it takes to settle into your breath, the rhythm of your breath, and the mind and the consciousness of your body, in those moments you are present. You are connected. Now, with the sole of your feet on the floor, root down below your feet as if you have roots. Imagine the roots are made of indestructible material. Could be hardened steel. Let them pierce through the substrata of the earth and wrap themselves round a neutralizing crystal. Think of the core of the earth, which it is, an entire layer of beautiful crystals, healing crystals, cleansing crystals, energizing crystals. The roots that are coming from you are energizing the earth through the release of the energy you no longer need, is being recycled, transformed. And this energy travels back up through the same connected root into the soles of your feet. Imagine and picture all of that healing energy, transformed energy, energizing energy, cleansing energy running up through the center of your whole physical body. Let your mind rest in the deepest well of your heart. Allow part of your consciousness to draw that light up through the crown of your head into the halo, stargate way over your head, a cluster of stars and bright white light opening up. Imagine that you have a cone of energy spinning, turning, energizing, widening. And the light above your head is connected to the big well of love within your heart. And the big well of love within your heart is sending all of that beautiful energy outward, radiating out from you in every single direction. And to your left, imagine that you have the great Archangel Michael's energy slightly in front of you, slightly above you. See the brightest light of blue, protective energy in front of the Archangel Michael is his sword of protection. Surrounding the edges of your image of Archangel Michael is a halo of silvery white. Moving towards the center of his being is a beautiful, deep cobalt blue. As you show love, gratitude, peace, happiness, for the energy of Archangel Michael protecting you, so you see it returning back to you, multiplied. Out in front of you, in the distance, you see the soft pink, slightly magenta hue of charity. Allow the center of charity's image to be one of an unfolding rose. See the petals. Inside the heart of the angel known as Charity is a fountain. The fountain is an overflowing well of goodness, of kindness, of compassion. And this well of goodness and kindness and compassion, generosity and healing is spouting way up high into the air and then coming towards you multiplied. Feel the shards and the splashes from the fountain of charity, plenishing and refilling you, energizing you and completing you. Honoring the love of your soul, honoring the star being that you are, and empowering you to share this with each and every one you know and you meet. over to your right, slightly in front, slightly above, is the energy of the great director, the divine director. And from the divine director comes the knowledge, comes security, comes reassurance. Look beyond the divine director and see the pathway forward. The pathway forward may look like your day. The pathway forward may look like a hallway with a series of doors. The pathway forward may look like file folders of opportunity with labels of what you want on it. The pathway forward could look like a road. The divine director now opens your third eye center to a specifically laid pathway that you have specifically designed for yourself with the help of the divine director. Watch the divine director as he beckons you forward. Move forward towards the divine director. You may see his face. You may feel his energy. Allow yourself to feel what you feel, see what you see, experience what you experience right now. Move in front of the divine director, the feeling of the divine director behind you. Take a breath in and allow the healing light, the directive light of the divine director to connect with your energy. Then repeat after me. Thank you, divine director, for showing me and reminding me that I am on my path. It feels good to know all my desires and my purpose will now manifest. I am willing to follow your lead. I am open to listening to your guidance, and I trust that all in front of me is for my highest good and the highest good of others. So be it, and so shall it be. Bring your hands to heart center. And in your own way, in your own mind, give thanks, gratitude to the Archangel Michael, the Angel Charity, and the Divine Director. Lift your thumb knuckles to your third eye center, and together we bow and say Namaste. Thank you. I should really just put a bit of a caveat on it. When I do these things and I see these energies and I see these visualizations and they come, what I ask you to do in the meditation is what I see, what comes to me. It's not rehearsed. It just is there. So I repeat what I'm seeing. All right, listen, have a great Thursday. Do something kind for yourself and something kind for other people. Set up a prayer of something you would like to enhance your life and something you believe somebody else could use. And I'll chat tomorrow. Bye.